Hey, what's going on? Today we're going to be doing a carburetor clean on this Husqvarna 562XB auto tune. So let's dive into it. So first thing you're gonna want to do is undo these first 3 clips here. You might need a screwdriver or something to pry them out, and that just pulls off. And then you want to get to your air filter and just kind of pop it off. And that should just pull right off. Then what you're going to want to do is disconnect your fuel lines from your fuel bubble, or your purge bubble, primer bubble, whatever. They just pull right off. Okay, so after you get them pulled off, just set them off to the side. This job is a lot easier if you have these Allen wrenches that you can hook onto a ratchet. So I'd go ahead, and there's 2 screws here, one right by the choke and one on the other side of the handle here. Now get yourself a small screwdriver. Now in here you'll see there's this white clip, and you'll need to take your screwdriver and kind of push on this clip right here and pull up on this part here. Actually, forgive me, you're going to want to come over here, and there's a fuel line right over here on the bottom of your, kind of by your air intake on the side here. It just pulls off. Alright, so now to get yourself some wiggle room, there are these motor mounts here. There's one right here by the choke. You just take your screwdriver and kind of just pry it off. Like, well, give me a second. See? They come off pretty easy. It's just hard to do with one hand. Then there's one over here. That right there. Just take your screwdriver and pull it off. Alright, so now you can just kind of lift this whole thing up here and then just pull this part back, and it'll give you a little more wiggle room to kind of make sure these lines are off the sides here. And then you'll be able to see underneath here there are these wires here. I would recommend unplugging them. See, there's one right here, just kind of slides off there, and then there's one underneath here, kind of right under there. I just push them off with my screwdriver, and then you should just be able to pull this air intake off here. Now, once you get this off, you have to pull these bolts out first. Bolts or screws. I'm pretty sure they'd be called bolts. Then I recommend putting them back in this hole, just to be 100% sure you know where they came from. Okay, so now you can get to this clip here a lot easier. You see that tab I was talking about earlier? So you see there's kind of a little clip in here where these wires on this plug go in. I'd recommend pulling it out of the clip before you unplug it. That makes it a little bit easier. Now if you come over here, you see your throttle cable right there. It loops around through there. So what you want to do is just take it, turn it, and just kind of, it's really hard to do with one hand, but it's really simple. You just kind of mess with it, and you just kind of turn it, pull it, and it'll come out. So after that, it is free. Now at this point, I cannot stress how much easier your life will be if your workbench is clean, no dirt on it or anything, so that you don't get any dirt in your clean carburetor. It also helps to put down a shop towel, so you can put your parts on and rest the carburetor on it. So this wire here that goes to your kill switch, you're going to want to take it off, and Well, let me look at this for a second. You know, I'm just going to leave it there. So now I'm going to take this fuel line off. I like to use this gum out carbon choke cleaner. It's safe to use on all parts, and it just works really good. So I recommend cleaning off the outside of it. Just any dirt you see, anything, just spray all around, all in it. Make sure it's clean on the outside. So now I'm going to take these 4 screws here off. So now after you get that off, you just have to lift this up, and then you'll see your diaphragm in there. And that looks pretty crusty. So now after taking some carb cleaner to the diaphragm, it looks a lot better. Now if you plan on saving that carb or that diaphragm, just be careful. Usually it's stuck here. You can see a little rubber on there. I highly recommend anytime you take a carburetor apart, it don't matter what you're doing, buy a rebuild kit and have it on hand. Don't assume that you can just reuse these parts because they get ripped. So you take some carb cleaner to the inside of there. Now you want to take this main module off. You want to see there's a screw there, and there's 1, 2, 3 screws. Looks like you'll have to take this clip off here, which is pretty self-explanatory. To get to this one, you want to take your this will be your choke, and just close it, and it'll stay. Then it's easy access. Now when you get this off, as you can see, it is nasty in there. That's horrible. And this thing did sit since 2015 to 2025, so that's 10 years. And you see, this is what's on the inside. You do not want to blow. There's holes right here, kind of right there. You do not want to blow directly into them. You can blow kind of like this, kind of like sideways, but do not blow directly in them, because you will get that crap way far in there and you cannot get it out. So just make sure this is clean, make sure that's clean, and you need to take this gasket here off. So what I would recommend, every single hole there, even these screw holes that we're holding the thing on, we're holding the module on, blow them out. Some of them have kind of vents on this side, or they go into the other screw holes, so it doesn't hurt to have those clean. But every single hole, this inlet tube here, all of these holes should come out somewhere in here. It should be flowing out through all of these holes, and then blow through every hole on this side, and it should come out this side too, if that makes sense. And what you want to do is this kind of needle valve here. You want to, I do not recommend taking this apart unless you have a rebuild kit, because it's really easy to lose stuff. And I don't recommend taking any of this apart, but especially not this. You can blow in. I do recommend blowing in there, making sure it's nice and clean, but I do not recommend taking it apart, because things like to fly apart and fly everywhere. It's just hard to keep it all. You don't want to risk it, if you just really need this thing. So the reason why I'm not taking this apart and showing you guys is because I don't have a rebuild kit right now, and I just need this chainsaw. I really need this chainsaw, and it don't run. Like, I just rebuilt the engine, and I need it. And yeah, so this is kind of last case scenario, but clean this is really simple. See, you take that Phillips screw out. You want to put your thumb on this, keep it from flying off, and this pin here, usually a kit will come with that pin, this rocker piece here, then this little needle that goes in there, and there's a spring under this rocker, and it likes to go flying, so just keep that in mind. It's really pretty simple. And if you have trouble with it, like every other chainsaw to ever exist has this mechanism in it. So just just look up a tutorial for a different chainsaw or find another video. I recommend anytime you plan on working on this stuff, especially the first time, watch a whole bunch of videos, have a whole bunch of sources, study it, get to where you know what you're doing. And I really recommend, especially before you put this on a chainsaw, I mean, I don't really know how much it matters, but you don't really want it running on your carbon choke cleaner. It don't have any lube. It don't have any lube. I'm sure it doesn't run for long enough to matter, and I don't think there's enough in here for it to even run off of it. But either way, you still need to blow it out with air, and just blow through all those holes. If you have an ultrasonic cleaner, just set it in the ultrasonic cleaner and let it run for 30 minutes and then blow it out again. That's what I would recommend. So, yep, I'll see you when I get all that done. Silly me, I almost forgot to, you have to take this part here off. So there's screw there. Then once you get this off, it kind of pulls off, and then you can take it off the throttle cable like that. Then you need to take this Phillips head screw out. You'll find this is very similar to any other chainsaw carburetor insides. You see you got all these in here. You want to blow through them. You actually want to, sorry if you're just watching this for the first time following along, but I'm not that good at editing, so I guess you'll just have to deal with it. Anyways, sorry. So before you blow through all those, I would recommend you definitely want to take this off and make sure this is clean. Blow through all these holes too. This screen goes to this needle here, and this needle is what controls your fuel, and you can watch a video on how it works if you're curious, but you have to make sure the screen is clean, and you have to make sure all these holes are blown out, and your carb cleaner should come out somewhere. Alright, so when you get everything clean, something to check. I mean, I've never seen it happen, but what you can do is push down on this piece here, and you can blow some air up and kind of right there by the needle, then up, and it'll come out through this little screen here, or not air, your carb and choke cleaner. If you can just kind of blow it beside this needle, and it will flow up through here. So that will tell you that it is definitely unclogged. So now it's time to put her back together, just reverse order. So, general rule, when you're putting these things back together, these gaskets are, I would really recommend watching like a video on how chainsaws work to help you get a better understanding. They have great animated videos, and anyways, so this kind of gasket and kind of valve assembly here, you see you cannot orient this thing wrong. If it's oriented wrong, then your holes will not line up. All your bolt holes will line up with the bolt holes on here, and if they don't, then you have it oriented wrong. Okay, so now after you get that on, now all these screws and bolts on this carburetor do not have to be He-Man strong or tight, just get them snug, get them fairly tight. I mean, it has to be airtight and all that, and it can't leak, but you don't have to really crank them down. That will just make your life harder in the long run. So, alright, so this side, you you want this metal part, it needs to be facing down, and you see there's kind of a notch where it needs to fit in here. So as you can see, holes line up. Then take this, see this notch, it should face like that, right? Something, I don't know, still saying the same principles, or oh, there's a notch in it. So same principles. If the holes don't line up, it ain't oriented right. So yep, same stuff here. Make sure that you kind of snug them down in a kind of you want to put them all in until they are just barely, like, don't even tighten them, just get them on, and then you want to go from one hole to the one across, then you go up here, and then to the one down here, then you start at this one, and then you go around torquing them. They don't have to be super tight, just you want to do it like that so that it is done evenly, and that will minimize your chances of it leaking. So now put this thing back on like this. Quick note, you have to put your kind of throttle wire here back through this hole right here and this hole down here. Alright, now take this little rectangle gasket here. This notch is facing up. Dang it. Give me a second. Now, as you can see, all the holes line up. Now take your tuning, I don't really know what this is called, and just, put it back on how it's supposed to be. Okay, so now after you get those three in, then again, not too tight, especially on this plastic stuff, because you can crush it and it will be done for. And these are not really that cheap to replace. So anyways, so from here on out, it is pretty complicated, and yeah, it's just a pain in the butt. So I'll try and well, it's not like complicated, it's just really tight, and you got to do things in a specific order or you can't get it put back together. So what you need to do is take this, you see this side going in like this, see there's a fuel line here, these two things, and you want to make sure that fuel line goes in this little in this fuel line right there, this tiny, or it's not really tiny, but that thing there, and these holes here on the bottom of the carburetor need to go in here. So it also helps if this is really clean. That will ensure that it is not going to leak when you get it put back together. You might end up having to pull this out at times to kind of mess around with it, because it is such a pain. Make sure you have all these plugs. This plug up here, make sure you have it plugged back in. I almost forgot. Good time. This little plug down here, you need to, there's 3 wires on it, and they go in this clip on the side of the carburetor here. Each wire has its own slit, as you can see. You just got to make sure they're lined up. You'll need a small screwdriver or pick or something to push them in those slots. Just make sure it's done right. Another thing I just remembered, luckily I did it before I got that clip in, you have to plug in this clip here into this little clip down here before you get it in these slots, which makes your life just that little bit harder, because it is impossible to plug this in whenever you get it in, if you get the bottom in that slot. I learned that last time I had this thing apart. Alright, one thing I will say, if you are not a patient person, I do not recommend doing this. You have to be patient. That is the name of the game here. You have to make sure everything's right, and you can't just go ramming jamming, or you will break wires and you will cost yourself more money, and you'll just wish that you brought it to your fix-it man from the beginning. You might, even if you are a patient. I mean, it's not a huge deal. You just kind of got to be patient and, you know, make sure everything's right. From here on out, it is fairly smooth sailing, I will say. I'm going to go and put this squiggly line on this here above your kind of actuator thing, just on that. Now your intake. Make sure this is clean too. You need a really good surface for it to seal against, because if you have air leaks, it will either not run or it'll be really boggy. It won't run at all. You just got to make sure everything is airtight. So make sure everything is spotless. I got a little work to do, but you gotta these blue wires here down here. These clips that I think they were the first clips we undid. They go in. See, that's your choke. One goes on there, one goes on there. You can't get them mixed up. So yeah. By the way, these wires will be going in front of this clip. They do not go behind it. Alright, so now that's what it should look like. You now just need to rotate it in like this, and I'll get back to you in just a second. Alright, so after you get that in there, you're going to want to get your bolts that hold your carburetor and your air intake to the engine in through these holes in the back here again. Now at this point, your motor mounts, one right here, one right here. You just got to pop them back on. It's really easy. Now this fuel line right here by the air intake, this one down here, there's I can't really see it, but there is one down there. Just hook it onto this white piece right here that you see. Okay, so now this line here, you see there's a clip right there. You just need to pop it in there. And then there's several clips along the side of the air intake here, kind of up in there. But you're going to want to, you have to use pliers. You just grab it like this and then put it on the on your primer bulb here. It will be the one in this long one here goes on the one in the back, and the squiggly one here goes on the one in the front. Now if we prime it, there we go. I'll go and prime it. There should be fuel coming here within 5 or 6 pumps. See, if it takes a long time for it to for this primer ball to come out, you know, you push it in, then it comes out. If it takes a long time for it to do it, that means there is something clogged up inside of your carburetor. That's part of how you know that you need to clean your carburetor, other than it, you know, just not running. But this can confirm your thoughts that it could be the carburetor. But just because this isn't, you know, coming right back out does not mean there isn't something wrong in here, if that makes sense. If I'm vocalizing that right, just, you know that. So now there's the throttle cable. You have to take this, and there's that groove that it comes in. When you took it apart, you should see you'll have to twist this. It's really simple. You just twist it down, put this end in there, and it just kind of seats into place. This right here, that's what it looks like when it's in place. You'll probably need to use your screwdriver or pick to get it in there, to get it all the way in there some of the time. So now, I believe that is everything. All the necessities. You just pull that, make sure everything in there is working just right. Everything's moving just like that. And so now, get your air filter. Your oval side goes in there, then push down. See, it slides over. Then push your clip on. Now just take this on, put it on. Now you should, and when you get this side on, you should be ready to start her up. Something to note, this choke here, there's a switch, and you can't really see it, but there's a wire underneath that kind of rod that you see there. And you see when you flip your choke on, that flips the switch down, then when you turn it off, it comes back up. And that wire has to be underneath that kind of metal piece there. Sadly, I am going to have to put a rebuild kit in it. So, I'll try and upload a video of that so I can give you some better content. Better how-to. So, stay tuned for that. Sorry, I mean, it's a lot better now. It actually starts and kind of revs up, and it actually acts like it's getting some fuel to it. But I believe all that rubber and all the stuff in there is so wore out, and it just ain't working. So I'll get a rebuild kit. I'll make another video, and I don't know. I guess this will just get you. I don't know. So, all right. Well, stay tuned.